Exciting day because we have head coach Bill Beroza, who is the head coach of Team Israel, and you're gearing up for the 2018 FIL World Championship Games. And first, just thank you for being here. We're really excited to have you.
Thank you. I'm excited, and a lot of people are excited in the country as well as in the States that have put in a lot of work and time to prepare for these World Championships.
Now, this is you all's second appearance. Your first appearance was back in 2014. What has been the difference as you gear up for this one?
Well, we started our program in Israel in 2011, and we were just starting a grassroots program there. So we're 7 years into the program, and we competed in the 2014 World Championships in Denver. And I think what's changed is we've got more players that have moved to Israel that actually live there that are Americans. We have more Israeli players in Israel that are playing, that were born there, and they're melding and coming together. So I think you'll see a better team this time than you saw in 2014 from us.
Nice. Now, you're also the co-founder, and you talk about the sport just growing in general in this country. What improvements have you seen since in 2011 when you started?
Well, you know, as a co-founder, Scott Neese, our executive director, was a 25-year-old kid back in 2011. And called me and asked if I'd be the head coach for our national team. And I said, well, where do they play lacrosse? Who plays? He says, well, they don't yet, but we're going to start it. So we started from the grassroots. We had 3 Americans that actually moved over there. Matt Cherry, who was a first-team All-American from Dickinson. Noah Miller, who played at the University of Vermont. Jake Silberlick, who played at Hobart. Actually, a 4th guy, Seth Mahler, who played at Whittier. And they were young kids. They were 21, 22. They just graduated. They moved over to Israel and started knocking on schools, you know, to get kids to play, to show them what the sport was. None of them spoke Hebrew. And so what was a challenge is we didn't have a foundation. We were just starting. And these guys, the 4 of them, not only knocked on the school's doors, they learned the language. They recruited kids. 3 of them joined the military. They actually served in the Israeli Defense Force. So when people think about our team, it's a different level commitment of our players that commit to move over to the country and participate in the sport, to teach it, to grow it. And several of them have moved over there and have jobs and work there. So what's happened is we've grown our base of really good American players that can go to the schools and attract players and be there for practice sessions, so the kids that are Israeli are getting better as they get older and participate.
Now, you talk about that phone call when Scott Neese called you to be the head coach. You see the passion of these, at that time, 21, 22-year-old kids what they were trying to do in Israel. But how did he convince you to be the head coach and take on this role?
Oh, how did he convince me? I took a train from Boston down to New York City and spent 4 hours in a coffee shop with him, and I had done a lot in lacrosse at different levels, playing on the USA team, coaching the USA team under Bill Tierney in '98. So I had done everything I could from my own personal accomplishments and perspective. So I was I'm Jewish, so it resonated with me, and it was a new challenge, and it's worked out pretty well.
I think it has. Now let's talk about Israel is hosting this year. Just talk about how important it is for the country to have these games come there.
Well, England backed out at the last minute, and then they gave us an opportunity to bid, and Mark Greenberg, who was a Hall of Fame from Johns Hopkins, and Howie Borkin, who is what used to be the general manager of the USA team. Both of them are co-founders along with myself and Scott Neese. Scott came to us and said, is it okay if we bid on these games? And we said, yeah, let's go for it. Let's make it happen and just do it. So when we won the bid, we said, okay, what are we going to do now? We actually won, and we need to put all this stuff in place. And to Scott's credit, he had already booked up, you know, a majority of the hotel rooms in a couple of cities that we were thinking about potentially hosting the games in. And so we looked at bringing a boat in to host people and have them stay in a boat, just like the NFL playoffs in Jacksonville a couple of years ago, in Haifa. And then we looked at Netanya, and we looked at Tel Aviv, and we looked at a multitude of cities. And working closely with Scott, you know, we ended up in Netanya, which is up north. It's right off the water. It's beautiful up there. And we got enough hotel space for all the teams, 48 countries coming. And so, you know, it was being awarded the World Championships was like great, but that's when all the hard work started after that.